Hey guys, how are you doing today? Hope everyone's well. Um, I haven't done one of these in a while. Haven't really had the chance, the opportunity, the time, the availability, whatever you want to call it. It's been a stressful month. A lot of things to do, and really wasn't able to catch up on the markets. Um, so I'm gonna do this video as a bit of a um, update for several assets, and I'm gonna essentially be marking out levels and setting my own alerts. So I hope um, it's educational for you guys to see what and why I consider something relevant. Right now I'm in a Bitcoin long, hoping that we at the very least get to these highs over here, um, these two highs over here. We're looking at the Binance chart, um, and I think this should be easy enough to be reached. Potentially we go higher because we have a CME gap that was created for the weekend. Um, but high time frames were bearish, and we left these guys here on Binance specifically. In a second I'll show you guys why I'm saying on Binance specifically. So here we have the daily chart. Just as a reminder, um, we essentially changed the range POC of July, the month of July, the range month of July, change it into resistance. So high time frame, I consider that we're bearish, and for example on Binance we kind of had this cheeky trap logic which was good enough for a new all-time high. But I thought it was a bit suspicious and posted about it because CME didn't touch this guy. It did now, and which is one of the reasons I'm long, at least with the hopes that it's very probable that we fill the CME gap. Levels that I was previously looking for to short was some order blocks and breaker blocks that we had down here. Eventually the one that actually created the kind of winning reaction was this guy. So I do expect a retrace, maybe a move above this high, but not much more than that. Looking at the 4 hour, this is essentially just coming back to the level of a previous day view up, testing or recovering the totality or a part of this or this vector, but I'm not hoping for much more than that. Oh, and by the way, this was referring to this. So equal lows here, I'm not expecting much more than that. The reason I'm long is essentially because of this. Looking at the daily chart, you can see that this daily order block was only touched now instead of what Binance showed us, which was referring to this guy. And so as a consequence, I think that a retrace is probable. I'm just not hoping for a lot just because we're bearish. Alright, we already had this close below structure. Doing that, we weren't able to go above the value area low of a previous range. So until we have a relevant reclaim, I'm not really risking on I don't want to say swing longs, but I don't want to risk big long-term trades for longs. The gap that I'm expecting to fill is essentially this. So we kind of have a long way there. My TP is set both on these highs and essentially here. Also because that is the equivalent of these guys on Binance. So far I'm not looking into much more than that. I'm gonna be hoping that this works out. It's also relevant to mark out the current New York session view up. So this would kind of be it, which is probably the POC of this range. Okay, it's a little bit lower. I hope the New York range holds. That's basically my bet to get up there. Anything that happens here, I'm gonna be quite cautious. But that is essentially it. Until we get there, I don't want to really talk about anything else, to be honest, because overall I think we're bearish. It would take a lot to actually be thinking about swing longs right now. Going down, I like the range POC, but probably the idea would be to take the low and then this area holding. But that would also mean that we lose the anchored view up from the 77k low, which would be more bearish than bullish. So overall, it's not looking super great. It's not looking super great for Bitcoin. The ideal scenario for a bullish, the ideal setting for a bullish scenario would be that we have to recover the full range and get back above that high. But to be honest, I don't really see that happening. On the 27th of August, that's Wednesday, I think, we have NVIDIA earnings. If they're bad, NQ will probably drop with it. NQ and SPES, and so will Bitcoin. So hopefully Bitcoin gets to fill the gap before that happens, because if those earnings come out kind of bad, I think we're gonna push slower. That's essentially it for Bitcoin. I'm gonna just take a screenshot here to post about it. Let me get that view up. Alright. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, and let me also get this one. Okay. As for Nasdaq, in my opinion, we're bullish on Nasdaq short term, and at least until the earnings come out. The only problem that I have with it currently is these lows stacked, but that's only on normal brokers because CME took it. So I think the low is actually nice, and I think this is potentially a trap here, making people wanting to short more and more, and there might be a willingness to squeeze them. Another thing that I find really interesting is that on the CME, let me go lower. On the CME, we had the VWAP here, and we ranged on it, and then basically broke out of it. Whereas on normal brokers in this case, I'm always using FXCM, but if you check Oanda and others, interactive brokers, etc., they're essentially the same thing. And basically we had like equal lows, fake outs here, and then an SFP type of reaction from it. So I think that low should be good. And essentially now I would be trying to trail along at least until that high, but potentially to these lows over here, right? Why am I looking at it like this? So when we had this high over here, I have the theory that we're essentially reacting to this breaker area. Since we bounced from the VWAP, now the breaker is kind of useless, and I think the only resistance that we're gonna find is 23k 646. On CME, that essentially translates to basically the same thing. The numbers are just a little bit different. But I think we should get up there, essentially. Now, the only problem is from where, if in case you're not in a trade. And what I would suggest is using an anchored view up from the session, which is here, and try to get on a trade if we get on a retrace of that. But yeah, I think we should get up to that level. From there, I have to monitor it better. Let me take a look. Let me take a screenshot of that. Maybe make this smaller. Like so. I think ES is basically the same thing. I can't quite remember the chart. Oh, it's not actually. Quite a big difference. On ES, we're basically above all of this. So actually, let me set an alert here on this high, because if it changes like 15-minute structure here, that might actually be relevant for a bigger drop instead of a continuation. Okay. As far as gold. Gold technically did a breakaway gap from this. I'm not 100% sure. Well, I'm never 100% sure, but I'm not sure if I should bet on a retrace to 33.50 here. Because if this move is that impulsive, we might just consolidate here and push away from this area without retracing to the naked view up. If we do, I'm gonna be trying to get on along there. Target 3,410. This is probably a good idea to leave a path instead of just posting like this. Alright, now as far as yen, oh my god, these lows are ugly. But I think we're pushing, like I talked in the previous video, we're maybe pushing to this inverted FEG up here. 147.856. We might get up there and then clear these lows. Wouldn't be surprised. I think that's it. I have a lot more to say about that, to be honest. Yen, I think yen is really simple. Gold is really reactive. I'm gonna have to be really reactive here. See if it SFPs this high, change the structure or not. If it does, I'll short to that view up, and from there I'll try to long. If it just goes, I don't think I'm gonna do anything. If it just continues up, I don't think I'm gonna take a trade, because it makes no sense to open a long if I think it's going down first. At the same time, being a breakaway gap, typically breakaway gaps take liquidity inside the ranges that they're in. So if that happens, it's probably gonna come back for these equal lows. Let me see if those equal lows are on CME. They are, yeah. So all of this might be targeted before a real move, so I don't want to get on a long now. I prefer to wait. If I lose the opportunity, I might have a short later. A short opportunity later. I guess that's it. Out of everything that I'm looking at, I guess that's it. I'm late for this Nasdaq trade, so I'm not gonna get into it. But this VWAP touch was nice. At least to take this liquidity was nice. Now it really depends on what happens here. But maybe ES is more important in this situation. Let me check the CME equivalents. Yeah, ES is already above this area here. It's above the previous range POC that I have my cursor lined up there. If it holds here, it might take this high without coming back for the retrace. So it's kind of the same as gold, actually. Very similar. They're usually like way reverse, inverted in correlation. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna post these screenshots for you guys to take a look and compare it with the video. And yeah, set these levels, these areas, set them for alerts and try to take trades reactive from them. But also be careful for, situations like this. Don't get in too soon for you not to become the exit liquidity, I think I'm pretty safe on this Bitcoin long, at least until we get to that high, just because Binance created equal lows, but CME actually had this decent low. So I'm confident about that one, but not much more than that move. And yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I'll see you later. Have a great day, a great week. And as usual, if you have any questions, tag me on Discord. Alright? Bye bye.